Why are white people so intimidated and threatened by black men despite their claims that black men are inferior to them and incapable of the most basic tasks?
They know black men are superior to them. Put us on any playing field, be it physics or football, and we will win.
My credit card number?
Yes.
Wonderful. Just one more thing. The abortions will be done specifically for the black community abortions.
I will mark it in such a way that definitely it will.
Oh, great. On a black baby.
Yes.
Thank you. Great.
The exact amount we charge right now is $450 for an abortion.
Okay, 450.
And we can definitely designate it for an African American.
Wonderful. Okay, and if I want to make to fund, because this is a if I wanted to help fund multiple abortions, would you also specify that this can be done for a specific group? Well, I'm really excited, because I really face trouble with affirmative action. I don't want my kids to be disadvantaged, against blacks in college, and the less blacks out there, the better. So.
Yeah, it's a strange time for sure.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, thank you very much, Jeremy. And if you have any questions, please feel free to give me a call. My extension is 304.
The fact that this nothing ass bitch said this is a strange time, in other words, that black people are actually advancing. That's strange. Ain't that some shit?
Give us the same opportunities, and we will win. Because we come from a history of not trying to destroy and dominate the world, and you come from a history of trying to destroy and dominate the world. So you go into your medicine, and your first open heart surgery as a black man, your first separating of Siamese twins as a black man, the creator that eventually produces your first artificial heart is a black man. A black janitor at Johns Hancock, all right, teaches your best surgeon, the janitor, who never went to med school. You got a TV set because of a black man. You got a cell phone because of a black man. You got a touchstone because of a black woman. You got the video game because of a black man. You've got the internet because of a brother from Ghana, Nigeria or Ghana, I think the brother's from. You got the email because of a black Indian man. And you just go, all of the technology that you're using was created for your corporations by African peoples. Yeah. All of it.
The movement into Asia is tremendously important because we find that whenever we go back into Asian history, the great civilizations, the Indus Valley civilizations, are Africoid. Now, when they found these skeletons and skulls, there were all sorts of names for them. Let me give you a few of the names, because that is one of the things that was done in Egypt, that when they found the Egyptians, they said they were brown Mediterraneans. They created races for the Egyptians, when in fact, as Diop showed, if you were to take the skulls of the Egyptians and you were to measure it against the skulls in African graves, West or Central Africa, it's the same skulls. But because it was not classically Negroid, all of them, what they call the classical Negro, as Diop shows, there's a range of what we call the Negroid or the Africoid. Let's use the term Africoid. When they make this comparison, they are embarrassed. So they have Chatterjee and Kumar, two Indian archaeologists, discovered that the Indians, the early Indians, are the same as the Nubians 5,000 years ago. Well, nobody has any doubt of who the Nubians were 5,000 years ago. They were all black people. Look what the various anthropologists said. Sergi says, these are the same skulls, looking exactly like the Nubians 5,000 years, that they're Mediterranean. Bosch says they're Hamitic. Elliot Smith said they're Proto-Egyptian. Deere said they are Iranic. Fisher said they are Oriental. Lebzetzer said they are Nordoid. I never heard that one before. And Erstedt said they are Indidi, Eastern Mediterranean, or indeed. Now all of this because they cannot face the black. Because they call themselves Indo-Aryan. Therefore, if the Indian has something to do with them, the black couldn't be in there too. I mean, that's a double embarrassment. It's enough to find the black pushing his head up into Europe, being father of the Caucasoid, and then you go to Asia where they were searching for man until yesterday, and then at the bottom, at the very ground floor of the race, you find another African. So you have, that's the search for name. They're finding all sorts of names to explain this. They can't say European because they know it's not European, so they have to find a name: Hamitic, Iranic, Nordoid, Indeed, Mediterranean, Iranic, all sorts of things to escape that fact.
Wave water. They went in two directions. They went out to what is now known as Oceania and became a people known as the Negritos, and they also went towards Mexico and impacted this Olmec civilization. The reason why we now know that is because there was a genetic trace done. You know about DNA now. That's getting a lot of play in the paper. DNA means you can trace the genetic code of a people. The genetic code of the, and there are still native blacks in Mexico. That's never been explained by archaeologists before Columbus arrived. DNA tests done on them. DNA tests done on the bones of some of the Olmec people, not all of them, the ancient remains, show a definite genetic trace, not to Africa only, but across the Pacific. When they found that out, they said, that's got to be wrong. It just doesn't matter. There are no black people out in the Pacific, but there's this definite trace, lineage they could trace out towards Hawaii and beyond Hawaii. Then they began a worldwide match of DNA. Well, who these strange black people, who do they match up with? They don't match up with Africans. They matched up with the Negritos in Oceania. It looks now, scientists believe, there was a central point from which they went in both directions. So this is a marvelous heritage. And, you know, some people say, well, you're a white guy, how can you talk about stuff like this? I get flack from this on both sides. The purpose of our magazine is to tell the truth about what happened to our country and our continents before Columbus. And if it shows that there were white Vikings here, and there were, we tell that. And if it shows that there were Asians here visiting, Chinese here visiting Mexico, we'll tell about that. And if there were blacks here, we have to tell that too. That's all part of our heritage. And I think it's thrilling and exciting for all of us. It's remarkable. So what we're telling you, and this is just in a nutshell, and you're going to be seeing a lot more of this, not just in our magazine, believe me. You're going to be seeing this on TV. It's bound to burst out because it's really known in the archaeological community. You've had 4 of these major impacts that the black people have made to the Americas, not only before Columbus was born, but before even Spain or Italy existed. That's the kind of roots that are in this country. And by knowing that, and the more you know about it, it's an empowerment. You're really rooted. You have got a heritage which is more than slavery. Sure, there was slavery, but that's not all. That's a small part of it. Long before that, there's a heritage of kings, seafarers, religious missionaries, and they were all here. But it happened so long ago, there's just so little of it left. And that's basically my story. What connects it up is even the word Moor, because it's pronounced differently in different parts even of Africa.
Why do you say Europeans never created a civilization?
Show me one. That's the only question I've had. Show me a European civilization. Rome was not a civilization. Greece was not a civilization. You don't know a day in the history of Greece where there wasn't a war. You don't know a day in the history of Rome and there wasn't a war. Those are not civilization. Those are death cults, war culture. They're not building anything. They're stealing from other people, borrowing from other people, and still carrying on this anti-human, anti-nature behavior of murdering, stealing to conquer and appropriate something that belonged to someone else that you could have gotten by just shaking a hands and making a deal.